That way, when we connect the black and white right there, we'll solder it. I can slide this piece of heat shrink over the top of it, and it'll cover up that little area right there. Uh, Once we get that done, we will be ready to connect it to the other 1-4 coil. Let's go ahead and cut this a little shorter. There we go. And slide it onto. What we'll do is crimp this on, or crimper in there. And we'll go ahead and put this on white. Okay. Now what we're going to do is slide this up onto our connector as far up as we can get it. Add a little heat to it. All the way around. Seal that up nice and tight. Not too much. Don't want it to start smoking. And we're going to go ahead and connect this onto the trigger side. We can connect it. I can solder it here after the whole installation's done, which I'm going to do. You know, sit through me soldering one wire to another wire. You guys know how to solder. Tighten it down. Don't over tighten. Don't over tighten nothing. Just snug them up. All right. Okay. Let's get these close to where we're gonna need it. Go ahead and set that on there. Alright. Now, our blue wire here coming out of the other end of the harness, that's going to be our trigger wire for the 2 and 3. See, it's blue. Out of the Dyna ignition system, or the control module. CDI, the brains of the operation here. Go ahead and put... Like I said, we're going to heat one of these up. Pull it right off. Throw it on the ground. Okay. Since we're working on the 2 and 3, or the 2 and 3 coil now, we're gonna go ahead and load up crimpers. There we go. Mount just a one hole. Okay. We're definitely gonna have to fix that. Anyhow. I'm gonna get the GoPro, all the mounts, all that. And crimper on there. Give it a tug. It's too bad. Okay. Go ahead. Just on the lower. The negative side. The exact opposite of the positive side. Trigger side. Good. Put that on there. Grab a screwdriver. Let's get her started for now. There's another. Heat it up a little. Right off it goes. This is another piece of heat shrink. Slide it onto the right here. This red wire, just like the black on the other side with our trigger wire, this red has to come out of the harness. Yeah. What we're going to do is, go ahead and cut this down a little bit. We don't need all that extra on there. Stick this a little bit. And just like the white wire and the black over there, we gotta cut a little section out. Just maybe a half inch or so. And we'll slice down the wire. You cut it in two different spots on the wire, and then you take a little razor blade and you're careful. You can just scour that piece of wire down the center. And then should make it a lot easier getting that. Let's try cutting it a little more, because you don't want to hit the wire. You need all the wires you can to. There we go. Every connection's a connection. Start cutting strands. See that little piece comes out of there, and then you're left with a blank spot where you can solder. There's other connectors you can buy, piggybacks. You know, they make it a little easier, I guess, but piggybacks are for the VML push-on connectors. And we need eyelet connectors here. So let me grab another piece of heat shrink tubing. Go ahead and cut us a little piece. So right there. Put this on, put the heat shrink on. So I have a little connector here. Put it down. Put them together. Make sure it's still good and safe. Give it a little tug. Slide the heat shrink on there, just like you did all the others. As far down on that connector as you can go. within reason. You don't want to cover up any of the around the contact where the screw is going to tighten down. That way. Alright. Okay. Just over here. Where'd the torch go? Back pocket. Heat this up. All the way around. Nice and tight. Go ahead. Put this on the other terminal. The outside terminal, I guess, the one that's not as close to the mounting contact. Now when we mount this down, the trigger wire contact's got to be tight because we can't get on there with a screwdriver, you know. It's up in there where, yeah, spacer's just right there at the end. Come on. Okay. Screwdriver. Like I said, we'll make this other connection here in a little while. We got this blue, let's tighten the blue, the trigger for the 2 and 3 down. Then we can go ahead and mount the coil to the OEM bracket. Snug it up. Alright. Now, we're going to go ahead and get it mounted down there. There we go. Now when it's slid down on there, there's a gap in between the those brass spacers, and I don't think we're gonna have an issue. I don't think so. Anyhow, now, so like I said, we got our 2 and 3 trigger wire hooked up. We've got, which is blue. We got our 1 and 4 hooked up, which is white. We'll solder the black to the white. Then we'll solder the red to the red out of the Dyna ignition module, which has to be switched 12 volts out of the ignition, hooked to this harness. So we'll solder that here in a little while. We're going to leave these 2 out here, the tech wires. We're going to go ahead. What we're going to do is kind of get it. I've already cut this one. It'll just slide in the end right there. This number 1 wire, because it goes starting from left to right. Furthest left is number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So our 2 and 4, or 1 and 4 coils over here. So we're gonna, the one side's got to run all the way over to the other side, and it'll screw on to the boot, factory boot. So we're gonna shorten it up some. We're not right yet. And then on our coil wires over here for the 2 and 3, we're gonna route over here. Let's take this off so we can see a little better. I don't plan on dropping nothing in the carburetors. So we're gonna go ahead and throw caution to the wind. What we're gonna do down here at the bottom, right in here, where it touches the frame, we got. I just did plug wires for a customer, and we had some leftover uh, plastic cover that wherever there's going to be some knife. So right here where they touch the frame, I'm going to put a couple pieces of plastic protected for the wires. What we're going to do is we'll do 2 of them. So we're going to cut this in half. Give us 2 pieces equal length there that we can slide right on here. This is really just an overview of what and then just the steps that we're taking to, because when you're out there doing 160 miles an hour, I mean, there's going to be a lot of wind up underneath this. Then you don't want your wires flapping around and rubbing and contacting other stuff when you can just put, you know, something out there for abrasion resistance. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut this one in half. Anyhow, we'll put these down here where they go around the carburetor right here, because, you know, they contact in a couple spots. So we'll just, these shrouds that go there, they have a split down the center, so you can just slip them on over the plug wires. Better safe than sorry, you know what I'm saying? Put this like that up here. We're gonna go ahead, let's cut this wire right there. Right, and that'll go this number 2 boot. Put this one over here underneath our wire, underneath these vacuum lines. I'm just poking them into the end of the boot for right now. I'm going to have to strip off a little bit off the end, so when I screw them on there, there's really good contact. I'm going to make sure the contacts out of my boots are nice and clean. So what we're going to do is wrap this underneath our throttle cables, and what we're going to do is cut some excess off of this one. There we go. That's about the length that I want them at, so it's nice and uniform. Go ahead and cut the last part of this one off. We ain't gonna have much left over for. We need to make a coil wire for Serenity's 70cc Chinese 4-wheeler. That way we got a brand new coil to go on her 4-wheeler, so that way she can ride this winter in the snow and stuff and have a little fun when we can't ride Batgirl here. So, okay, we've got all our wires cut to length. Got our, here's what we're gonna do down here. So, it's pretty much it. We're gonna, the way we want to check this, multi-tester. we're going to make sure that we got power to the coils while we turn the ignition on, and no power when we turn it off. We'll go ahead and set our multimeter to 20 volts DC, because that's the range we're going to want. 12 something. We got our new ignition in, and we had to run a power wire, constant power, to one side of it. That way, we'll go ahead and plug that in. And that way, when we turn our ignition on, there we go, we turned it on, we got power to the lights up here on the dash, showing a neutral light. And then, let's see if I can get this where, we're going to go ahead and ground out to the battery. And then we'll check the power wires in. They're going to our coils. Gotta turn it on, helps. Okay. Here's how we'll do this. There we go. Now we're gonna check the power at each coil. Maybe. Let's do it like this. Okay. We should have. We got 12.2 is what it says. We're gonna have to charge our battery before we try to fire this thing up. 12.1. Yeah, definitely need a charge. Now let's check the 2 and 3 coil. Make sure we're gonna have power there. 12.1, same as the 1 and 4. Yeah, okay. Still one more time. Show you 12 volts. Like I said, we got a small battery. This is Serenity's battery. So we got power to the coils. Okay. That's good. One giant leap for mankind. Shut the ignition off. We don't need that right now. Alright. Got our wires run. Let's plug back in the alternator wires here. Let's run them under starter wires next to our wire loom. Plug it back in. There we go. And like I said, I'll get some dielectric grease and get all our connections dielectric grease. That way there's no water, no air, nothing's getting in there, corroding everything. Like I said, we're going to leave our green and yellow till we get the bike running and get her tuned up, and then we'll mess with the tack then. We need to route our wires for our ignition. So, here's what, I'll show you what we got. Got a bolt in, got all our wires on. This white and goes to the black there. This red connects right here to the red with our heat shrink tubing that will slide over when we get done. Got to put our nuts on right there and right there. Since we got our trigger wires hooked up and tight, we can go ahead and do that. We got our, it's gonna rub right here. That's all. We got our, like I said, we'll screw these boots onto these later. I mean, you don't need to see me screw boots on to the ends of the cables, plugs, wires. Well, we got any place where it might rub. So there you have it. That is the Dyna coil installation. Dynatech kicks ass. One of the best ignition systems out there. I think you can get them for, $400 or $500 for the set. Maybe even a little more depending on whether ignition module is down here inside this cover. No box back here like this one is. Back there. So, anyhow, that's it. We're going to go ahead and end this video. We'll get everything mounted in solid tight. Double check, triple check everything. Then we got some other electrical attention we need to pay for the cigarette lighter outlet there, right there. Got to get ready for the new battery. I think we're going to go with the gel. Just have so much better with the AGM or the gel. And when we do get this board started up, let's turn the ignition on and check the red light on the ignition module. Make sure it still comes on when let's see. I want to put power to it. Alright. What's it on? Let's see. No, it should. Yep, and it goes back out. Okay, that's it. We're gonna call this a video. Miss Randy, I love you, girl. I'm working as hard as I can to get this done. We will be riding around safely very soon, I hope. Okay, so other than that, I'm gonna say goodbye and producer Randy's line. Since you ain't here, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can see the next video that comes out. It'll let you know. Hit up the comment section if there's something I missed here or another way that you think that I should have done it. Leave it in the comments and I will answer it back. We'll do what we need to, because if you know better than I do, then that's the way it should be done. Like I said, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and always be happy. Thank you.